Hello, hello, and happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you are all having an awesome day and as excited as I am. I am super excited, not just to crack into these packs of evolving skies that I'm pointing down to that you can't see because they're below the screen right now, but also, you might be reading the title right now and going, the Yakuza expert? Manatee, you're crazy. What are you talking about today? Well, girls and guys, I don't know if you ever do something like this, but sometimes I'll be on the internet and I'll come across an article that will catch my attention. I'll end up reading the article and be like, wow, I really love that topic, and then read 50 more articles about that without stopping. And so I am not the Yakuza expert, but I did stumble across the Yakuza expert while reading. So I came across originally an article about a Yakuza boss, this was a couple days ago, that is being sentenced to death for a crime that his underlings committed. So if you didn't know, as a little context, the Yakuza is actually treated like a corporation in Japan. And what that means is it's important because the bosses of corporations have employer liability in Japan, which means that if one of your employees, or if you're a Yakuza boss, one of your underlings or henchmen commits a crime, you can be held responsible for it. And if someone were to sue, they wouldn't sue the company, they would sue the boss directly, and the boss is the person who would have to pay for that. So, Yakuza definitely don't like to be out front in committing crimes. They want to keep it under wraps. It's very rare for a boss to be charged with a crime. So it really stood out, let alone the fact that this crime, the boss is being sentenced to death. That is the first time I'd ever read about that. So that really stood out to me. I started reading more articles to get a little bit more history. How abnormal is this? When was the last time a Yakuza boss had been charged with a crime and imprisoned, and so on? And I stumbled across a series of articles that all had really visceral and primal encounters with Yakuza members, which is super rare about to read in articles. And then, even more unusually, I noticed that all of these articles were written by the same person. And then, incredibly unusually, the name of this person was a very American name. And so these articles were on like the Japan Times and the Yomiuri Shimbun, so like Japanese presses. And we're seeing the name of the person who is the Yakuza expert, and that is Jake Adelstein. So I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. I'm sure members of my family are looking at this name like, oh man, I wonder how he pronounces it, because it's very close to my own last name. And here is the book that he wrote, Tokyo Vice, a Western reporter on the police beat in Japan. And this guy is a super interesting story, almost as interesting as the Yakuza itself, because he was actually born and raised in Missouri, rural Missouri, Columbia, Missouri to be exact. And by all accounts, he was a bit of a goofy character. He was so cross-eyed growing up that he couldn't drive and had to have his friends chauffeur him around. He was super into karate and was teaching himself Japanese, which are all, not typical things for the rural Missouri life. So he goes to college and is studying Japanese, continuing his education in Japanese language. Where he's working a job at a library, he ends up accidentally falling down an elevator shaft and actually has a traumatic brain injury. So here's some other pictures of Jake. This is him with his bodyguard, a former Yakuza member, and one of his contacts, a former Yakuza mistress. So Jake has this traumatic brain injury, and he loses a lot of his memories from high school, and he learns all of the Japanese that he taught himself. So feeling frustrated, but he doesn't want to give up, he forgot the Japanese language, and he goes, you know what, I can't relearn my high school memories, but I can relearn Japanese. So he sets for himself a really unique goal. He decides, I'm going to move to Japan. I'm going to reteach myself Japanese, and I'm going to be the first American ever to pass the Yomiuri Shimbun exam system, a really rigorous exam system. And if you don't know what the Yomiuri Shimbun is, it is the largest daily printed news agency in the world, certified by the Guinness World Records. They print 2 editions every day, and just the morning edition has over 8 million subscribers in circulation. For comparison, the New York Times total circulation right now is around 5 million. So this is a really prestigious news agency to be a part of. I mean, even if you're a national Japanese, let alone the fact that he's a foreigner who taught himself English, that is really impressive. So he does accomplish his goal, and he does become hired at the Yomiuri. He's the first non-staff writer, not even American, the first non-Japanese staff writer for the Yomiuri Shimbun ever. He works there for 12 years as a police reporter and develops an obsession with Yakuza stories. And in particular, one boss, and that boss is Tadamasa Goto. Tadamasa Goto was one of the bosses of the largest Yakuza organization in the world, the Yamaguchi-gumi. For numbers, at the time of that Jake started to get into this investigation, the Yamaguchi-gumi had 80,000 members. For context, the entire American Cosa Nostra mafioso system has around 5,000 members. So the Yamaguchi is huge. Gumi is absolutely massive. They are by far the biggest. They're like 3 times bigger than the second largest criminal organization in the world. And this guy is the richest of them all. He is a genius at making money, but he's also a bit of a sociopath, to the point where the U.S. actually imposed sanctions on him to prevent him from ever coming to the United States. But what does Jake find out? Jake finds out that Goto has a failing liver. It is a point of pride for the Yakuza members to be heavy drinkers. Goto is no exception. In fact, he's probably the leader of them all. He publicly boasts that he's drank enough to destroy at least 3 livers. So he ends up reaching out to the FBI. The FBI of the United States, and forms actually an illegal deal where they let him into the United States. He gets to skip to the top of the waiting list for a liver transplant from UCLA, and also get surgeries performed for all of his closest aides. I think his 4 closest aides, I should say. So the FBI ends up smuggling him into the United States, putting him at the top of this list, and all of this is secret. Jake figures it all out and threatens to publish the story. What did Goto offer in exchange, by the way, to the FBI for them to actually save the life of one of the world's most dangerous criminals in the world? He offered them absolutely useless information. So here's another pic of Goto at a celebration for the Yamaguchi-gumi. He offered them information from Yakuza fanzines. So he told them he was going to give them information about rival organizations and the fake companies that they ran that gave them the money. Well, what the FBI didn't know is that these rival organizations already printed this information themselves. Oh, look it. I click on an article, and of course, it's Jake Adelstein. And so here's an example of some of like the fanzines, what they look like. These are actually magazines that are printed by the Yakuza groups themselves, or like fan clubs of the different Yakuza groups. And this is all the information that Goto was giving the FBI. So they literally saved his life at the expense of Americans and got absolutely nothing for it. Actually wasted their time and money. And Jake figured all of this out and was going to publish the story, but he found out something about the Yomiuri Shimbun. Yes, they're one of the most prestigious organizations in the world for news, but even they are afraid of the Yakuza. So their official reason was, hey, we can't print this because we would lose money paying for all of the security of our corporate locations from protecting us from the Yakuza. The unofficial reason is that they may or may not have some links themselves to Yakuza front groups, or at the very least, they could be paying off Yakuza groups for protection. So Jake ends up quitting the Yomiuri Shimbun. He joins the Atlantic and the Daily Beast and a bunch of other news agencies around the world, and ends up publishing the story. And when it goes live, it starts illuminating some of the other crimes that Goto committed, including the killing of a comedic filmmaker who made a film that satirized the Yakuza lifestyle. So this was enough for the Yakuza bosses. Actually, this right here was his head boss, Tsukamasa, who was the head of actually the Yamaguchi-gumi completely, even above Goto, and he said, all right, enough is enough. Godo, you're out. Because sooner than later, I'm going to have to be paying $2 million for some civilian that you killed. And spoiler alert, this happens. So Jake ends up uncovering all of this, including the detector, and including the killing of the director. And all of this leads to Godo being kicked out of the Yamaguchi-gumi. And what is he doing right now? He's actually a Buddhist priest right now, because he's such a clever guy. He figured out, well, he's actually infamously known for tying up loose ends himself, but he figured out, all right, if I got kicked out of the Yakuza, they're going to want to tie me up as a loose end. But it's actually bad luck, culturally, it's like a bad superstition to harm or especially kill a Buddhist priest. So he said, I'm going to go become a Buddhist priest, and then that will save me from any retribution. Allegedly, he is still running, or at least financing, another Yakuza group that is a splinter group of the Yamaguchi-gumi and are their main competitors. So allegedly he still is involved behind the scenes. And what is Jake Adelstein doing today? He is living in police protection still in Tokyo. Every day the police have to come to his apartment and they leave a little sticky note that says, hey, we checked it out, everything is good, you're safe. And he's got his own former Yakuza member who still chauffeurs him around just like he did in high school with his friends. So he's a super interesting character. He uncovered a lot of really other interesting connections about the Yakuza, especially involved with, there's some really interesting investigations he did into the Yakuza and the nuclear industry in Japan, and also the Olympics Committee, so the Tokyo Olympics Committee. So if any of this is something that you guys and girls enjoyed, please let me know in the comments, and I will try and do more stuff like this in the streams. Or alternatively, if you don't enjoy it and you just like to go back to straight up Pokemon packs, let me know about that too, and we can make this, kind of separate content. But kind of just wanted to share a little interesting story I had come across the other day and some interesting facts about the Yakuza. And if you guys or girls have any other questions about it, let me know. And if I don't know off the top of my head, I'd love to research and find out the answer. So now we're going to cut back over to the stream. I hope you all enjoyed that. And I'm cutting over to the stream. We got Star Wars Hockey Fan in the chat, Susan, Theodore Sunshine, Allie J. Hankey. Thank you so much all for coming to the chat. Star Wars Hockey Fan, I hope you all enjoyed that. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Also, it would be Stein, pronounced that way. Have you ever read Angel Desetsu, Crows Are Worse? That's what Yakuza reminds me of. Angel Desetsu is more of a gag, but I love it. Theodore, no, I have not, so I'm writing that one down. Thank you very much. I always love getting a new recommendation, so thank you so much for letting me know about that. I'm definitely going to write that one down. Also, Yomamori Show, yikes, they'll never be able to defeat Andre the Giant in a drinking contest. That's a good point. Andre the Giant might be the biggest drinker of them all. Pokemon cards, says Star Wars Hockey Fan. Also, I accidentally hit the thumbs down. Sorry, this is all very interesting. Sorry, Susan. Thank you for letting me know. Sadly, money drives everything. Yes. Wow, this is not what I was expecting, says Theodore, but super cool. This guy is wild. All because he fell down an elevator shaft, says Susan. Oh no, not the nuclear committee. More storytelling, says Allie J. Hankey. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to see that you guys enjoyed this. Theodore is saying you should do a separate upload too. Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you so much for letting me know. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed this. So this is content that I think I wanted to kind of test out. I always love opening up Pokemon cards, so I definitely wanted to do a stream today of opening up Pokemon cards, but wanted to kind of test the waters and see if that was maybe some content that the viewers would be interested in as well. So I think a separate video is where this kind of content will fit best, but hope you guys enjoyed the stories. If you have any other questions about the Yakuza, let me know, and I would love to research, or maybe I happen to know. But we're pulling out the 6 packs for today's video, so without further ado, we are getting into it. We do have Pokemon cards to open up. Story time with AlbinoManatee, says Star Wars Hockey Fan. Yes, we decided, I just wanted to shake it up a little bit, trying some new type of content on the channel, mixing it up a little bit. And of course, also down here, we got our stuffed Dragonite that we got in our last opening, so we are doing a Name the Dragonite contest. So if you have any names for the Dragonite, it is a male Dragonite. Right now, we got the top choice is Hey It's Dark with hashtag Asuma. And if you win, if I pick the name, on September 10th is when we will decide the name of the Dragonite. So I'll do it on the giveaway stream for that. I will give a blister pack of Evolving Skies with the Umbreon promo card. Ooh, Reverse Ampharos. I do not have this one yet. Very, very nice. Let's see if we get some first pack magic. Ooh, looks like we do. And a VMAX to start things off. We got the Dracozolt VMAX. Let's go. This box is killing it. We got the Rayquaza alt art last video, and now the Dracozolt VMAX to start things off. Let's go. Do you have a favorite manga anime incorporating Yakuza? Theodore, great question. Actually, Tokyo Revengers right now is one that I have been reading that really, really caught my interest. They start off as kids in biker gangs, and eventually, you know, throughout the series, they start and get into the Yakuza territory, and I've really been liking that anime, and I've been reading the manga series of it as well, and so that is actually what made me first catch my eye about the article about the Yakuza boss who is being sentenced to death, which is still so crazy. I can't believe that's happening. That's going to be a real legal precedent that's going to really shake things up. Oftentimes, Yakuza bosses try to settle things civilly outside of court so that they can avoid a legal precedent, and now it's happening. It's going to really shake things up. Dino, Mareep, Wobbuffet, Love Disc, Dwebble. Ooh, we got a nice Crystal Cave reverse, and let's see what we got behind it. Do we have another hit? No, we got a non-holo Appleton, but very nice. I have a hard time with time travel. Anything else? Very, very fair. I'll have to... That's a good question. I know there are definitely other ones. They're just not coming to mind at the moment. So I'll have to go read back at some of the series that I have read. Oh, you know what? It's kind of mixed in with martial arts, but it's a manhwa series. So that means it's a Korean series, not a manga. But it's called The Breaker. And it's a real blend of Yakuza and martial arts. So they're all like in martial arts gangs, but they all so it's all Yakuza gangs, but they all are heavily practicing martial arts. But of course, it's you know, Korean and not Japanese. But that is a really, really interesting series. It's actually 2 series. They have one that's about 75 chapters called The Breaker, and then a follow-up sequel called The Breaker New Waves. New Waves, not as good as The Breaker, but The Breaker is a series I definitely recommend. So if you're into martial arts or Yakuza, it's got a mix of both of those things, which I think is really cool. Nickit, Dwebble, Pyroar, and we got behind it. Let's see what we got. Ooh, Pinsir non-holo. Okay, Theodore. So you have read The Breaker. Nice, nice. And yes, I agree. Oh, you're a big fan of manhwa? Me too. Me too. I love reading manhwa. I always look forward to on Fridays. God of High School is one that I'm currently reading as well. Of course, Tower of God is the banger of them all. And then there was another one, another manhwa that I was reading. I gotta maybe pull out my phone and check the name of it. It's been a little bit since I have followed up with it. It's about, I know the main character, his name is John, and he goes to like a prep school where everybody has superpowers, and you're like determined, your kind of popularity in the school is determined by how strong your superpower is. And he is one of the ones with no superpowers. Or so you think. And the plot unfolds from there. It's actually one of the most popular manhwa of them all. Lombra reverse, and let's see, do we have a holo? No! Non-holo Altaria, but I'm very happy with that VMAX Dracozolt that we pulled earlier. You know what? I'm gonna go. Ooh, Lookism. I'll have to write that one down too. I have not heard of Lookism, so thank you very much for the recommendation. It's a little strange, but really cool. I do like strange. Ooh, Unordinary. Unordinary was the name of this series, which was a pretty fun one. I read Noblesse as well, the manhwa of Noblesse. I absolutely loved how Noblesse started, and then towards the end it fell off a little bit for me. Now I want a man-witch, says Star Wars hockey fan. What exactly entails for a man-witch? You'll have to let us know in the chat. What is a man-witch to Star Wars hockey fan? Is there shirtless peanut butter involved with that? Fighting energy. We got Fleshender, Shopping Center, Lantern, Dwebble, Hippopotas, but Noblesse is a really cool one about a vampire who comes to I think, Korea and tries to blend in with students there. Noblesse was killer when it came out. Yeah, it was so good when it first came out. Over time, it became a little repetitive, and I felt like the author was like, man, this is such a smash hit, I have to keep it going, but I did not have the story prepared to last longer than like 120 chapters. But it was really cool. I like when they went back to, I think it's called Macedonia, like the original Vampire Land. I really, really like that part of the story as well. Hip out in, and I think we see some shine behind this maybe. Let's see if we got another hit in today's opening. No, we do not. I feel like I always do that. I'm like notorious for being like, oh, I see some shine behind it, and then non-hollow Appleton. So sorry for keeping you going. It's Sloppy Joe's. It's Sloppy Joe's. Okay, that makes sense. Actually, I do know Manwich now. Susan's throwing in the hashtag Manwich. I think she's made some Manwiches in her time. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. I had a pulled pork sandwich the other day, but Sloppy Joe's reminds me a lot of like a pulled pork sandwich, but I guess beef. But if you end up making one, you'll have to let me know how it is. So we are down to the last pack. I did leak the code there a little bit, so do you know it's going to be a hit? I saw AlbinoManatee like the Manwich. Yes, I did. So we do know this one's going to be a hit. So we got some last pack magic. Let's see what we get. Sheldon, Swoobat, Lombre. Let's call Hollow Entei. Nickit, Bergmite, Rug and Rolla, Flabibi, Swablu, Reverse Tropius, and the last card. Let's see the last pack magic. Oh, let's go! Hollow Victini! Very nice. I love me a Tony Victini, and this is the first time we've pulled the Hollow Victini from this set, and I love the artwork on this. Man, I am loving this set more and more. This is some really, really cute Victini artwork. Shout out to Tony Tanjung. Not in the chat for this one, but if you're watching the replay, shout out to you, buddy. We got this Tony Victini. Whenever I pull the Tony Victini, it always reminds me of our buddy Tony Tanjung. Very, very nice card to end things for the video. Last pack magic and a new card at that. So we got 2 new cards and at least 1 new reverse. I know that Ampharos reverse is definitely new, but a very nice Dracozolt VMAX and a Victini Hollow card. So overall, really happy with the pulls. I'm loving Evolving Skies. And let's get to the code card so I can get you all some pulls as well. I will be back Thursday. I won't be back Wednesday. We will be back Thursday for another opening, 5 p.m. Eastern. And then Friday, I will actually not have an opening because I will be going to Colorado for a wedding. And Saturday, instead of doing a live stream, I will be uploading an XY Evolutions booster box break that Ruse Pokemon and I did that. Really, really excited to show you all, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy that one as much as we did. We absolutely loved it. Had so much fun. So I'm looking forward to uploading that one Saturday, and looking forward to being back Thursday. So I will see you all Thursday, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Oh, Susan saying also a very heavy box arrived today. Interesting. Maybe another mail day video coming up soon. So thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace out. See you Thursday.